Welcome guys, so I hope you're all well. I'm still on holiday, so I'm just doing this video. So we're going to talk about a couple of things today. I think Lisa on the group had asked what's the difference between the mind and spirit. Well, firstly, frequency, because we live in a vibration, and spirit are frequency. So there are many spiritual collective forces that vibrate in different frequencies. So the thought or the mind is a electric energy, okay, and the female is magnetic. So it's electrical charge that sits around the mind, around the head, and this is actually what causes a lot of dysfunction, because we get sort of clogged into our frenetic electrical charge that sits around the body in the aura, and you can actually remove this through certain techniques. And what happens then, it allows a softening of that energy to sort of relax, and then you can start to feel the magnetics of the feminine, which is your intuition basically. So the difference really is, I'm not too sure how to explain this, but really spirit is a feeling. They'll come through as a feeling, where the mind is, again, is a thought. So it sort of depends on how you want to look at it, but if it'd be frequency versus electrical energy is the best way to describe it. So, you know, when you have, hi guys, when you have an intuitive feeling, it comes in via the soul, it comes in via the solar plexus or the heart. And of course that energy then goes up into the third eye. And if the third eye is not blocked, it will then bring that message into the mind. So it's more backed up with a feeling of just a sense of knowing, compared to sort of, I'm not too sure, and start questioning. So that's the difference between sort of the mind and the spirit, okay? Because really it's your own spirit as well, you know, and it's also about, and Amun Min explained to me that your guides are actually multidimensional aspects of yourself that come to assist aspects of yourself that need assisting. So your guides are actually your multidimensional selves. So really, when you talk about spirit, it's really your own frequency. And yes, there are many other frequencies that work with you and you're connected to, and you've got your soul body, and there's alignment with many different beings. But really the spirit is your pure source of consciousness. It's even above your highest self. Your spirit governs your soul. So it's really a frequency that is not easily felt, because we're so clogged in our human bodies, and this is where the mind gets stuck. So I hope that sort of explains a little bit more. Maybe I'll talk a bit more about that later, because I know it's coming up a lot for people, and maybe I'll do a channeling on that as well to get a bit more information. That's just off the top of my head, that's the best way I can explain it, because there's many ways you can talk about it, but just to keep it sort of simple, that's the simplicity of it really. And also Tim Coleman had put a message on the a lovely message he put on the group about his father triggering things in him, and how he's being humble and finding his path, and acknowledging that alignment process. And yes, it is. So this sort of brings up from the message, I want to explain, you know, what we perceive to be negative, and disgruntled people, or people that are blocked or trigger us in certain ways. They're always there to guide us on a higher level, because you know our worst enemy is our best friend, as they say, because they are there to mirror your shadow self. Okay, so it's not about debunking anyone really anymore. So even people that really niggle you are actually your greatest teachers, and I'm sure most of you know this, but I'm just sort of enhancing Tim's message, or sort of trying to answer that in a little way, the best way I can. So really, it's just acknowledging that everyone in your life is a mirror for you on some level. So this is really about letting go of these resentments and regrets, and feelings of rejection, because you have to embody what that has brought up in you. Okay, and a little bit of the, the message, and I've been talking a lot about the emotional body and how important that is right now, to process before anything else can take place in your life, especially coming into your true purpose and really releasing the stagnant emotions and blockage of third density living, really. So there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of people having to face their shadow selves now. And that's why the despair has been coming up. It's really the start of finding the shadow self. Okay. So look, this second wave, I think Antonella mentioned, I didn't mention anything about in the August message, where it didn't really come up, but it's good that she pointed it out. Now this second wave, even Spirit, and I think I mentioned this a couple of videos back, that they were planning to release this second wave anyway. Now the funny thing is I'm talking to people that are not sort of awake, should I say, on the spiritual part. Well, they are a little bit awake, but there's certain people, mostly sort of mainstreamers that I speak to, that are even questioning it now. And this was great for me because there's been a few people, and I thought, fantastic. So even people that are not really fully awake of this consciousness can actually see the hypocrisy and the lies that's coming out. Because, that first wave was really, that isolation was a very deep spiritual to take us into ourselves, and that was great. This is really more now, yes, there's good and bad, if you want to call it good and bad, but there's no divide. But, there's good intentions here as well, because of people still need to process. So having a bit of the shutdown is still good, because it's still allowing us to look at ourselves a little deeper. But unfortunately, that agenda is being really pushed now. This New World Order agenda is being pushed. Now the face mask is really taking away our sovereignty. It's taking away our identity. And that has always been the plan, is to strip us back and mould us into that model that they're trying to create. The one world government, one world army, all the rest of it, blah, blah, blah. But again, we don't want to polarize ourselves into that. So I want you, my main message here is to just let go of it now. Just don't get into it. If you don't want to wear a face mask, I wouldn't. I mean, I went into the supermarket the other day and I refused to wear one, because it's not that I know I don't have the virus, and I know I'm not going to pick it up, because I worked on myself consciously, and I know why viruses are there in the first place. So again, it may be a bold statement for some people, but I don't feel I need to play into that fear or that agenda, and it's not something that sits well with me. And we have to, as Min said as well, we have to be passionate about the truth and not get angry at the lies. And we're seeing the corruption, we're seeing the hypocrisy now. You can go into the restaurant, but if you go to the toilet in the restaurant, you have to put the mask on. So, and then you're walking past people sitting at tables with no masks. This is just this one aspect of it that's so ridiculous. So, you can be on the plane. As long as you've got a drink in your hand, you don't have to wear a mask. But if you're not drinking or not eating, you have to have the mask on. So again, it's the whole thing. And to be honest, I was in the military and I was trained in nuclear, biological, chemical defence. Now, we used to go into gas chambers for CS gas to train, obviously. And now the gas chamber particles are much thicker than the virus particles. Now, we had to be in a full body suit not to get affected, because it even goes into the pores of your skin and it burns. Now, the virus is smaller. So the whole face mask is a complete joke. Even if it was contracted through breathing and coughing on each other, it would still go through the mask anyway. Because it's an airborne thing if you're meant to catch it. And we did the coronavirus talk at the beginning, back in April. And if anyone hasn't watched that video, just watch it, because I channeled the virus, and it speaks very clearly about its intention. So you will not catch it unless there's something in you that needs to be triggered. So again, just bring us back to the fundamental basics here. But really, it is a joke. It's gotten beyond now, and all these people, I read yesterday, 400,000 people trying to come back from France, rushing, and people can't go on holidays, and it's just, they want you to get into that panic, they want you to get into that fear, they want to lower your immune system. But really, any of that comes up in yourself, just breathe into it and just let it go. Because, use this as a positive. If that does trigger fear in you, then that's good. Thank you. Thank the negative side, if you want to call them that, because they have, yes, you haven't played into the gender, but they've triggered something in you that you can work on in yourself, and then use that negative energy as a positive for yourself. Okay, so it's all about reversing, and it's the same energy anyway, it's just oscillating on different ends of the spectrum. So again, it's where we polarize our thoughts as how we take our life forward. So that's good. So yeah, really, I mean, it's getting beyond a joke now, and people are just getting sick and tired of it. And Spirit said very clearly, people will not be locked down anymore. They'll just say no. And it's great. And I mean, I've heard, there's people obviously, these anti-vaccine marches, I think it was in Berlin, and there's people in England now that are, acknowledging that, this face mask is just about taking away our identity. So just get passionate about being true to yourself, and that's enough to create the vibration and energy that you need to put out through your auric field, then to help other people. And it's very, I get frustrated with people. It's very easy to frustrate because you're living in a human body, and you see these people in fear walking around, and you walk past them, they move a meter aside because they think they're going to catch something. Just send them love. It's very easy to get annoyed with them, but just always center yourself and just try and be as humble as you can through this process, because when you can see so much lies and crap going on, it's very hard, very easy to get annoyed with it. But then again, that's also bringing your energy vibration down. So just try and stay focused with your feelings in the moment, and just focus on that, and then everything around you will start to form, and you won't come in contact with such hypocrisy so much, or people trying to get in your face about certain things, and you just keep, you become unseen. You raise your vibration, because this level of vibration is working so low. If your energy's up here, you're not even in the same vibrational field. So again, it's you have the power to sit with yourself and command all of this to work the way you want it to work for you. And that's another thing that they've taken away from us, our power that we have to create our own illusion, our own path of illusion. All right, guys, so I'm going to read this as you read on the title of this video. This is the golden disc. So I want to say thanks to Nina, because she was working with a little bit of this. The golden disc is also part of the, it's actually a meditation of sorts that's within the activation processes that Jennifer Starlight teaches, and that will also be part of my alignment modality that I'm creating, where we'll do the numerology as well. And there's a golden disc meditation, but this is channeled from Thoth. So now, when we talk about these light beings, and we talk about Thoth, Anubis, and Isis, and all of that, these are group consciousness. So they give a name because we have identity in the 3D. We need a name, we need identity. We need to know where the person's coming from. So that really they're a group of, it's a consciousness of many beings that will come as one identity. Or they'll push themselves back into the lower vibrational fields to create a single identity, so they can actually talk to someone directly. But really, in truth, these beings are a consciousness, as we all are in the higher realms. We are co-creative, so we work as with the intention, but we don't come across as names, because when you talk to these light beings, they don't like to say we're from here. They don't give identity, because identity is against the ego. It's the 3D, partly 4D, I suppose, consciousness. But the higher we are in our higher bodies, we lose that attachment to identity. So when we speak of Thoth will be, yes, Thoth. If Thoth was I think they had the big nose. He was the ibis. If you've seen on the hieroglyphs on the Egyptian paintings, but he was very much the writer, and he did not multidimensional, as I'm about to explain, and very much part of the agricultural aspect as well. He did a few other jobs, but this is his message anyway. Okay, so I am Thoth, the orchestrator of many Egyptian writings, including the ancient text of Lemuria. Now, I just want to point out that Lemuria and Atlantis keeps coming up in the New Age stuff and all the rest of it, but they're the ones that we're aware of. Now, these are Atlantis and Lemuria, they're yesterday's civilizations. There's much more ancient civilizations that have been here, and these beings are connected to, but we just don't have them in our human history. But they've found portal systems that are 1.5, 1.8 billion years old on the planet. And Lemuria and Atlantis are like, tens of thousands of years ago. I mean, they're basically yesterday's civilizations. So continue on. I symbolize what it means to bring heaven to earth. The lost language of light is re-emerging on your planet. And I wish to transcribe to you some of this ancient text to assist you, to assist those that need assisting. Let's start with the ancient practice of sun worship, to establish direct communication with the hidden or inner realms of the sun. An initiate would kneel down and face the sunset, whilst chanting a sound or vibration that was known back then as a vibrational tone, to assist with connection to the inner realms. This allowed a tone to move through the etheric vibration, and with the intention attached, it would activate contact. And so by doing, the initiate would understand the sacred planetary alignment to their own life on Earth. Because back then, off-world and interdimensional travel were taught like you teach basic maths in your schools. I would sometimes appear as a winged horse coming out of the sun, which was symbolic of the journey into the sun from the great temples. Back then we would pose as angelic beings to assist the initiate to raise their own vibration. We didn't teach it like you do on Earth, that someone will save you, but rather to inspire you. Our intention was always to impress on the initiate to align their soul body with their human one, so the outer shell or aura could hold the energy of the sun. And it was the sun energy that was harnessed and acknowledged for all types of living, meaning you could create anything with the solar wind. It is the life force, the provider. You could change your cells with pure life force, living off the sun energy field, even without food. We are assisting the planet through the unconscious mind of those willing to open up to the new earth. I kept records of all our visitors from off-world, keeping an alignment with the temple pyramids of the 6th and 9th densities. I would assist in the mathematics of space travel. The sphere being, or golden discs, are actually an intention placed in a parallel world to support the awakening process. Within the disc, you have the light language, and it's the intention placed into the disc that allows the disc to open up people's awareness. You can also use a disc as a bridge to cross into a parallel dimension, which allowed Egyptians the chance to commune with the Fae. Great power could be wielded through a disc as they hold pure life force from the sun body. A disc is also a higher light being visiting or monitoring the 3rd density world. I would transcribe into hieroglyphics the sacred sun language that our priests would bring back from the inner realms. And it was common practice to visit your future selves in those days, and they would assist their 3D counterpart with evolving their own lives, but also that of planet Earth and the sacred Egyptian ways. We could access pure source through the algorithm of sources coding. And by doing this, the land and culture thrived because we didn't go against divine will. As soon as you try to do it from a human mind, and we mean run the planet, you're going to break down the society and lose the freedom of knowledge. We are finding that many of you have lost your way because you don't have a mission anymore, something to believe in and to aspire to. We will be showing up shortly to enhance human life, and our ancient teachings will give you the healthy foundation that Earth is aligning herself with. Our mission is to align the sacred temple knowledge or reawaken the source code within the DNA Rolodex. If you are still seeking outside pursuits, such as this New Age ascension process, you will miss the point and most likely augment confusion for your own minds. The sacred knowledge is already within you, dear ones. There is nowhere to ascend to. Moving into 4D, not 5D, is just a process of surrender. Surrendering the illusion. The veil becomes slightly lifted. You are simply remembering more of the truth along the path. So if you can access your multidimensionality, if you can speak to your future self, then that is already ascension, is it not? When your New Age movement continues to enhance this need to ascend somewhere, you are in fact disempowering yourselves by believing you need to go somewhere or achieve a milestone. This is a timeline, and this particular timeline in your 3D perspective is what keeps you in servitude of the illusion, only serving the ego. Yes, the physical Earth is hurtling towards a different quadrant of the galaxy, but for the human being, you are simply releasing your perception of reality, clearing the emotional body and aligning your soul body. You are already experiencing aspects of fourth density, so in truth, you are partly there. You need to be centered within your own emotional bodies and not get too caught up in all the New Age hysteria. It is a distraction and will only cause you more disruption if you are not balancing your emotional bodies and your multidimensional selves. You must feel what we say and ground this information into your bodies before you can really start the surrender process. The system that currently runs your planet is designed to stop you from accessing universal alignment with your soul and spirit. So there will be more fear placed in the New Age movement and your conspiracy theory platform, because those seeking truth for the first time will generally gravitate towards these platforms first. This, of course, is another way to stop the alignment process, because misinformation has been the greatest weapon used against you. So choose carefully the narrative you want to follow. We have simplified the teachings for you. Any excess of information, of rules and procedures will only confuse you. I would bring the 6th density knowledge into the 3rd density temples to keep the alignment open, and this is what nourished the Egyptian civilization, moreover many aspects of the planet. It could be viewed as liquid light or a funnel of light codes or algorithms moving down into a being's crown, down through the spine and anchoring in the earth via the Earth Star chakra. I would inspire initiates to channel and scribe the teachings of the 6th density. We preferred if the initiate had been through the portals to experience the frequency. This allowed them to create a clear channel of information. Primarily, this is all done to keep alignment and balance within the planet and to the higher density vibrations. Earth used to glow even brighter in the temple days, for many light beings would visit to experience the frequencies you have here. Okay guys, that was a bit of a longer message, that one. So yeah, that's great. So look, more of this is going to be coming out as the teaching and the alignment modality I'm creating is evolving. There's going to be a lot more stuff coming through, and I've got a lovely message from Lyra, the constellation of Lyra, and it's the feminine aspect, because I was contacted by a feminine energy not long ago, and they came back to me yesterday when I was actually in the sea. So again, this is the feminine energy is really pushing forward now, and the vibration's starting to change a little bit. So there'll be more on that, and I'll be processing and channeling and giving the information to you probably next week. I might do another. Do another message at the end of this week. If not, it'll be next Monday. when I'm back home. All right, guys, I hope that helped. And I will speak to you all soon. And if you've got any questions, obviously just post them on the group. And we'll talk soon. Take care. All the best.